Sweet Dream just became available, the final boss for Nebula Distortion. So let's go over his general mechanics, how to fight him, what to use against him. I'll show off a couple of teams, the free-to-play setup, plus the usual basic Meilin team that everybody uses. In terms of difficulty, I would say that he's somewhere in the middle. Kentress was definitely the hardest. I think Sweet Dream comes right afterwards. And that Family Head, I never even found out what he does, I just killed him. So for the Distortion stacking here, as usual, if you're only after the crystals, you don't need these last three. The last three is the same thing that all of the bosses have when you're going 9 out of 9. You only draw 4 cards per turn instead of 5. After you take 6 turns, the boss will deal way more damage, and overall he'll have more HP, take less damage, and deal more damage. The primary mechanics for this fight, of course, we still have Void, having fought this boss a billion times in Laboratory 0. I'm sure you know what it is by now, but just in case. At the start of the turn, if he has Void, he will steal one of your cards temporarily. Each time you hit him, moves with multi-hits will count as multiple hits, and he'll reduce a stack of Void. When it hits 0, he'll give you all of your cards back, straight into your hand. Unless, if your hand is full, then your cards will disappear, apparently, is what happened to me last time, so maybe make sure you have space to receive the cards. Besides that, the Nebula Distortion specific mechanics, at the start of the turn, the boss will get 5 hunger. This is very similar to the mechanic that he gains in the higher difficulties of Laboratory 0, 9, 10, and 11. Hunger is literally just, it's morale, but you can remove it by hitting him. Same thing as Void, multi-hits will count as multiple hits. So this entire boss just says, hit me a lot, because he has Void and Hunger that both have the same conditions for removal. Either characters with multi-hits, I assume that Chizuru was meant to do well into this boss, or characters that can just hit the boss a bunch of times, like Tressa, would work very, very well. At the start of the turn, one vulnerable to all combatants also happens. The boss does do multi-hits, it's not just like one giant hit, it's a lot of, maybe not a lot, but it's a few like moderately sized hits. So you are going to take a bit more damage on the first hit, but it's not all of the hits. If you do not remove the hunger though, the boss is going to kill you because the 5 hunger every single turn adds up pretty quickly. For the units you can use, the basic team for free-to-play is just Tressa, Cassius, Mika. If you don't have Cassius, then really it's some other like support would work here. You could use Hugo, of course, there's no reason you can't use Hugo. Hugo would deal a ton of damage and help a bit with some of the hits, because he has multi-hit on Quick Draw and Haste of Hail of Blades? Something Blades. And otherwise, it's just Cassius, or you could probably try Rei. She could do a little bit of healing too. And then, usual premium team, Meilin, Veronica, Mika will absolutely destroy this boss. And I don't have Chizuru, like good Chizuru save data yet. But I'd imagine that Chizuru also works decently into this boss just due to having multi-hits and whatnot. Let's take a look at the free-to-play setup first. So my save data for Tressa is triple Shadow Reload. You could probably survive with just 2, honestly. The boss will yoink a card at the start of the first turn, and if it hits your Shadow Reload and you only have 2, you probably want to reset. If you have 3, then it's fine, even if it takes a Shadow Reload. It doesn't really matter that much, you'll get it back eventually. The Vital Attack, I have no epiphany here. You would want the one that either increases Agony damage or deals 10% more damage per Agony stack. And then the Curse, ideally either a neutral epiphany, or the best one is the one that for 2 turns when using attack cards deals 1 Agony. Or there's also the, I think this one is also okay, because then it makes it so that your skill cards also apply Agony. Neutral epiphanies I prefer over the rest of them, honestly. And then pretty much a very generic Tressa deck. It has the Shadow Reloads with like nothing else really. The partner I'm using, Eloise, though Zatera also works great. And for her Ego, I have her E6, though I would say the only important ones are really E1 is the most important one, and then E2 is also pretty nice too. For Memory Fragments, I have her on Void Attack, though 222 is better. I don't have enough 2/2/2 sets, so she's getting a mediocre void set instead. Next up, Cassius. This is... Cassius does not need to look like this. Give him like 2 dice tricks. Choose Popeye Popper, or you could go for the initiation one, because the fast you can reset fast if you don't get the right one immediately, so long as the boss doesn't yoink it. And then everything else doesn't really matter too much. This is my Great Rift Cassius, so he looks a little bit weird. His partner, I mean, Cassius and Mika are both controllers. They're partners, you can just swap between them, but one of them has Arwen. She's a relatively cheap... Okay, honestly, I think Alyssa might be better, because she's a little bit cheaper and also heals. It's just somebody is going to generate more daggers in a time of need, though the Pompako's Cheer does help a little bit with reducing the amount of damage you take. The potential looks like this. I forgot to show Tressa's potential. And then his memory fragments, he's just on random DPS gear pretty much. And his ego is up to E3. I mean, his E1 and E2 are really nice, pretty much same as like most characters. And I think that's it. So lastly is Mika. This is a very mediocre Mika deck. You do want the heal Epiphany on Tactical Analysis so it can generate Shadow Daggers for you. Besides that, nothing else really matters. Remove your water attack, remove your Whirlpool, and she has 2 gear bags, but like no dupes on Tactical Analysis or Source of Water is pretty sad. Her potential, just a little bit like this. And then her memory fragments, completely random. I should probably start looking into getting her real gear. And I do have her completely maxed out for her ego. And her partner, I'm using Nyx, so you could just swap this for Alyssa or Yvonne, and it would be fine. That's it for everybody's stunts and everything. And now let's take a look at the run. The very start, odds are you lose a Shadow Reload. Doesn't matter too much, because Tressa is still going to be amazing against this thing. So, he has the most consistent attack generation of any character, in terms of, like, number of attacks done. That was a mistake, playing the Lelouch that fast, mainly because you want to try and hit him before he hits you. Like, attack cards are better, because they'll reduce the hunger stack, so I took a bit of extra damage for playing that Lelouch there. Not fantastic. I'm also going to play this now, just to reduce some of his hunger stacks more. You could also hold that until you get your Shadow Reload back if you want to. So here, we're going to get our Shadow Reload back, and also the Void is gone, giving us our cards back. You want to make sure you have the AP to play them, is what I was trying to say there. What a draw. One other thing Tressa does really nice is, especially with Cassius, whenever you manage to get the Popeye Popper, is just, aside from really bad RNG turns like this one, I suppose, she more or less has the attack consistency to remove Void every single turn. Now the nice thing about removing Void is that every time you remove Void, he goes into the Void Wrap action, which... Ow. Which makes it so that he's not going to attack you. He's just going to keep on repeating the, He's going to keep on repeating the Void Wrap, and he won't attack you. I'll show Void Wrap once we actually get there, but basically, you get a lot of time to just heal up, because he does a lot of damage whenever he does actually attack you, which, as we can see by me almost being dead. Here's Void Ramp, 7 Void, 1 Morale. It just gives him his Void back, and the Morale is the annoying part, because it will make him, like, slowly do more damage. But I should not have actually played that rally. It's a little bit grief, because you kind of want him to put up the Void Ramp so you can remove all of his stacks. But it ended up working out decently, actually. And now we can just bump into him. I am going to play this a little bit slower. Now this turn finally ends, you can see he's just going to Void Wrap again. So that definitely helps a lot with, like, sustain. If you can just maintain that amount of hits, then you'll be able to heal back up without really worrying too much. Cassius helps a lot with this, just because you can see, like, you get 6 attacks from Tressa, and then the few extra ones from Cassius put it over the top pretty much. I forgot to use the partner, but any turn you want, you can use the partner, and you'll be able to just drop a bunch of weakens on the boss. I'm actually going to do it now. This is a pretty good time for it. The one thing is this little bar here, once this HE bar actually drops under it, which should be soon. Not just yet, but soon. Okay, he's gonna swap over to his second phase, which is pretty much the same thing, except he gets 10 Void now. And usually you end up taking a hit here, which is why I played Eloise, just so that we could avoid taking too much damage here, but do this too. Just see what we get. 2 Jokers. Very interesting. It's just a little bit harder to make it so he doesn't hit you anymore. But at this point also, you should be fully set up. You should have all your shadow reloads, all your dice tricks, and you can just start hitting the boss. I just will pick this up. And also one thing is that sometimes he'll still attack you, even if he has no void stacks. I'm not sure what the exact situation for that to happen is. I think it might just be like if you get him under and then immediately, because I got him under the threshold and immediately removed his void stacks, he might just attack afterwards anyways. Which, same thing, it's just make sure you hit him and remove some of the hunger stacks so that you don't instantly die. So now I removed enough stacks that we're gonna live. You can also use Death Trick to decrease some of his morale. And he's pretty much dead here. It's just gotta get it a little bit lower so that the ag can kill him. Okay, let's just let the agony kill him. And that's the Tressa team. Now for the Meilin team, this is pretty much just your average Meilin, Veronica, Mika setup. For Meilin, okay, the save is honestly kind of jacked, but I don't have a lower one. I have like nothing. My save is either this or just complete garbage. This is more or less a triple unity because the force one's an upgrade. This is the Meilin deck that everybody uses. One extra hit per passion card used, 2 or 3 unities, and I have a Portrait of Fury on this one. For potentials, I'm working on getting her maxed out, just need more passion potential mats. For memory fragments, it's just the usual 2/2/2. And then I have no egos on her. And partner, we've got a maxed out Douglas. Next up is Veronica, who's on a maxed out Rosaria. Her save data, this is triple repose. Forbidden Hunger, kind of sad because I don't have precision aim, but it's here, I guess. I probably would be better off without having this here. Not gonna bother refarming this though. And then, I mean, this is a basic Veronica build. You also don't need a giant ballista for this one. Any ballista would work okay. Oh, this is her potential. I should probably look into getting some of this stuff enhanced more, but Meilin first. Memory fragments, just the basic 2/2, and then a broken set, because the last set doesn't really matter that much anyways. And her ego, I also have her with nothing. And Mika I showed earlier, but again, she's E6. Memory fragments, completely random garbage. Potential is like this. And save data, just a very mediocre build. Since we're not using Tressa, you don't care if this even has the heal or anything. I probably should have swapped this to a version that had more gear bags. But this one has 2. And now let's take a look at the fight. So, it's a little bit RNG here. You might want to reset a little bit until you don't lose your important cards. I would say that, honestly, I just kind of keep it. Losing the Flame Dragon Jewel kind of sucks, so usually I restart if that ever happens. Besides that, the Ballistas and Deluge don't really matter. Okay, he took it again. Yeah, losing Deluge, whatever. Even if you lose Fire Ring Preparation, that's not too big of a deal either. You can honestly live without the Dragon Jewel. The main thing is do not let him take your strike. If he takes your strike turn 1, you probably have to restart. That is the worst possible thing for you to lose. That's a little sad. So Meilin does a decent job of reducing his hunger stacks. It's not as good as Tressa, but it's still pretty decent just because we managed to spam so many basic attacks. I don't have any attack skills here. You can use Douglas to hit him one more time to reduce some damage if you want. At least I think that removed the hunger stack. I wasn't even paying attention. Let's check. Yeah, it does reduce a hunger stack, so you can use partner skills to attack as well. Even after, like, it's gonna hit us here, but it's still worth us just spamming our hits into him just to reduce his hunger stacks further. I need to make sure I get to 8 here. So I can play Deluge for free. That's 8, and now we can do this. Nice, that's all of the cards that we needed. I'm also just gonna play this with one extra passion card. Let's take the chance to heal up, and then we can do this. Largely just getting through that initial setup phase. It's once you pass that, it becomes a lot easier to keep his hunger down, and you shouldn't have too much of an issue with it. This has me at 8. It's also a good enough turn to just go for it. Pretty simple stuff. It's just hit the boss and try to not take too much damage from the hunger stacks. The Meilin, compared to Tressa, her burst is a lot better, so you should have a much better time of just straight up killing the boss before he does too significant damage to you. I still have EP, so we can use this and fish for more stuff. Did not get what I was looking for, but that's it for Meilin. One bonus build, it's kind of a meme build. It's the same Meilin that I showed earlier, but the Veronica, we're doing something a little bit different. We have 3 of the Retrieve 4 Pendant of Resolutions with a Divine Epiphany, cost -1. Basically, you can play this card 5 times for 0 cost, and since it has Retain, you don't even have to play it immediately, you can just hold it, and with 3 of these, we get 15 Passion cards for literally for free, so that's 15 stacks towards the Rising Dragonspire. This only exists for memes pretty much, and then of course we'll have the usual passion cards for immunity and just whatever else we get to play, probably Sphere to the Armada and a little bit else. And this is with the wrong Mika. Ideally I'd be using my 4 Gearbag Mika because we don't even need the healing or anything. We just want to cycle our entire deck, and probably one with more cards removed, but this is not super optimized. I also don't have 4 copies of the pendant, unfortunately, but it's good enough, and let's take a look. So this is just the meme build. Okay, he took our strike, which is like the worst possible thing, so we're just gonna reset. Losing rapid fire is whatever, he can keep that, honestly. Just gonna play some of our early upgrades, and hopefully this pulls the right upgrade. This is the one I was looking for. We have 2 spare AP, so getting Unity of Attack and Defense upgrade version here is very, very nice. It uses up all of our AP and thins out our deck a little bit. There goes our Pendant of Resolution. I probably should have played the attacks first, but it's whatever. He's holding one of our pendants. And this is pretty nice. We got Repose plus double Gearbag. Hopefully we managed to draw everything we need. Nice, so there's one pendant. I'm going to assume that we managed to do everything that we need to this turn. And given that we don't really have the AP for anything else, I'm just gonna use Douglas here. Get our cards back. So we have one more pendant in the draw pile, which using our forbidden card should be good for. This has us at 8. Alright, I'm gonna play this. Hit twice. This draws our last pendant, and I'm just gonna start playing my pendants. And that's all of them, I guess. And now let's kill him.